Alright, so my new camera came. I'm recording on it. You can't see the screen, which annoys me, but I think it's the better option because it was quite a bit cheaper. And in the event, I do have another one, but in the event that that cube goes bad.
Your batteries are dead.
No, it's not dead. Your batteries are dead. I got 100%. Wow. So, anyway, so I'm back to recording with a DJI. It's a different one, so wasn't really happy about having to do this, but sometimes you just got to spend the money if you want to be on YouTube, and it cost me $590. Don't get your camera wet. A lot of guys say just film with your phone. I hate filming with my phone. It loads my phone up, and I like to take photographs of William and small videos with William, and then they get lost. They get lost in the fluff of the phone, and I run out of memory and blah, 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 you know, the whole 9 yards. So anyways, we're on our way out to bale. Tim and Teresa are raking, and that's it. I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna get out of here and go bale. Hopefully we get it done today because we're supposed to have rain by like, I don't know, 11 o'clock tonight. Hopefully I'll be done by then. I am going to bale what I mowed yesterday as well because it's dry enough. Whether it likes being dry enough or not, it is, well, that ain't gonna be dry enough. I think the one farm will be dry enough, but the other one is not. I don't know, I'll see when I go by. If it's like 30% moisture, I'm gonna go ahead and bale it. So anyways, back in business. Thanks for coming along, and hopefully this camera does its thing. All right, so I'm a-bailing. Light windrows here this year due to the high price of fertilizer. I opted out of putting down any fertilizer on this hay. The mushroom barns are not paying enough. The lunchbox is down there. Go get it. You can go get that. Mushroom barns pay their bills. They're just not paying the price that it would warrant me putting down, you know, $950 a ton nitrogen. Just wasn't going to happen. Well, actually that nitrogen, I used liquid nitrogen, that was $760 a ton. Just didn't warrant it, you know. So I just said, you know what, I'm going to let it ride. Then of course we got into the drought, which dries everything up, which you don't get that second growth of grass up through, and we haven't. So I'm basically baling, you know, old material, and there's not going to be any second cut. Last year I took 2 cuttings off of this farm, and they worked out okay. The problem is, I think that's my sandwich. That's mine. You don't eat that one. You know, I'm not taking a second cut. There's no chicken nuggets. Chicken nuggets are behind you. Oh. So, whatever. Not going to have 10,000 bales this year. We're going to settle in around 6,000 bales. Yeah, that's yours if you want it. About 6,000 or so. Possibly a little bit more than 6,000 bales. Oh yeah, okay, you can eat that. Which is fine because it normally takes about 4,000 bales to pay for the rest. So what have I done? Worked a whole lot more for a whole lot less. Now I don't recommend putting nothing on your hay fields because the problem with putting nothing on your hay fields is the return will eventually be nothing. So it was something I had to do just because I didn't feel like going into debt in uncertain times. The mushroom barns need to get their hay price up around $130 a ton in order to warrant fertilizer of any kind. And the crazy thing is, I don't think they've got that memo yet that the high price of fertilizer is going to put a huge impact on the price of hay, because when they didn't cut the price, they just didn't raise it enough. They needed to go up another $10 from what they went up. And if they'd have done another $10 from what they went up, that would put us at $125 a ton, and $125 a ton would have warranted a little bit of nitrogen. Not the full dose, but a little bit of nitrogen. And I think that's what I'm going to do next year anyway. But yeah, so I don't know. It's all up in the air. The price of fertilizer versus the return was just not there, and should be all right. Should be all right. I can put corn in here. I can put the lime and the compost down, and I cut the grass high. It was, you know, I cut it a couple days ago, so it's going to have a pretty good bit of growth on it before winter sets in, and probably will look like I'll need to cut it again, but I'm not going to, because I'm going to put corn in here. And I think there's a little over 50 acres on this farm, so, you know, 50 acres of corn, it'll be all right. A little bit of lime, 2 tons to the acre, and I'm going to twin row the corn. I'm going to twin row the corn, yes I am. And it is a wet farm, very wet farm, so it's going to be one of those later planted varieties, something like mid-June, on a 97 to 100 day corn. I don't like going below 100 days, but 97 seems to be doing okay this year. So it'll be like a 95 to 100 day corn planted somewhere around the 15th of June. It'll be dry enough at that point to get it in, and the grass will be tall enough to plant through. And of course the lime and the compost will be on there, just ready for the corn to be planted, and we'll be good to go on that. There's 2 fields over there that I will not put into corn because they're kind of steep, and one is really rocky, and I just don't feel like dealing with it. This field is not rocky, but yeah, that's what's going to happen. I'm going to rent a manure spreader. There's a pile of eggshells right there, and that pile of eggshells is in the middle of the field, and it needs to get removed. I can't put it through my spreader because the dirt that has grown on top of it, the biomass that's grown on top of it, has really started to turn it into soil. Believe it or not, the root masses die off, carbon gets in there, and what was a white pile of eggshells is now a bunch of hay with a bunch of eggshells down beneath it, and you can't do anything with it. I mean, the only other option I have is to get up there with a skid steer and peel off the top layer, and then go ahead and load it into my spreader and spread it, which will work just fine. I've seen corn on this field before, and it's done okay, but it's neglected ground. The pH is really pretty not so good, and you know, when you get the pH up and the microbes start to live again and the worms start to create drainage, then it will hold a better corn crop. But that's a couple years away, and I'm going to do it anyway. You know, I'm just going to do it anyway. So, anyway, I guess I'll shut up. And, yeah, I'll shut up. I'll be okay. Alright, just another field. Oh, you know, you don't realize how much you miss the second baler until you don't have the second baler. Now, you know, you go with 2 balers and you can mow for 3 days and bale it in one with 2 balers. When Cody had his baler, it was, you could mow for 3 days, fool around in the morning, and then, you know, get started at about 1 o'clock and be done by 7. Yeah, it was that fast. And you know, of course, the poor bastard in the stack wagon, he's always there trying to play catch up. And we didn't always bale with 3 balers. We just, you know, we tried to. Sometimes, like when Grant left last summer and had to go to school. Why are you acting like that? When Grant went to school last summer, that put Cody in the rake a little bit more than he wanted to be, but he wasn't able to use his baler then. My battery's just fine. How about you? Your battery's dead. Yeah, watch, you're gonna hit your head. And he's got his little tractor down there. Anyway, so yeah, then me and Teresa would start with 2 balers. Cody'd finish up raking with Tim, and then we would go to baling with all 3, and bam, we'd be done. Or we would rake for a day and then bale the next day, depending on the weather that we were having. But we got a lot of work done in a short amount of time. This year we're behind on people, and we're behind on people, and we're down to 1 baler because of the fire. And that fire, I'm really kind of getting disappointed now in the insurance company. I told them I needed this baler up and running right away. They told me go ahead and tear it apart. Then I hear from the adjuster, and the adjuster's like, well, they're probably going to total it, and they're going to have guys come out and do an inspection on the baler to see that it was maintained properly, and blah 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 blah. Well, you know, it doesn't matter how well you maintain something. What matters is that some asshole pulled the, and this is the other thing, we're not even sure that somebody pulled that flywheel brake. I say somebody pulled the flywheel brake because when I got there, the flywheel brake was pulled. The fellow from Messick's, I won't use his name because he's asked me not to video or use his name, so he said that he didn't feel that it was the flywheel brake. He said because it would have been more charred than what it is. And I said, well, it's really not that tight to begin with. It never was. And he was, you know, he's like, well, it could be. I'm not saying that it isn't, and I'm not saying that it is the reason, but he said, from what I can see, I don't think it was. I think it was something else. And well, there's no hot bearings on that thing at all. The only thing that I can think is that there is stones in that field, and as dry as it was, it may or may not have, it may have sparked the stone, started the fire, and, you know, by happenstance, it got the baler. I don't know. Something's weird. Might have got a stone inside the baler and sparked the fire there. I don't know. But I'm not getting another baler very quickly, and I'm a little bit disappointed because I really want to get this job done. I got corn and soybeans coming on like a freight train, and that's just going to pull me off of haymaking, and I don't want to be pulled off of haymaking. I want to get all this hay made and then on to the next project of corn and soybeans. And God, I'm trying to think of how many acres I got to do yet. I do have a fair amount to do yet, so yeah, but whatever. It's just another deal, another day, another dollar gained or lost, who knows. And I'd like to know why I've got a broken string back there, and there's no broken strings up there. This is the first I've had broken strings. It's not making any sense to me. There was a ball change, so that could be what it is. But anyway, yeah, hopefully this camera's quality is good enough for what we're doing, and hopefully it's set up so that it works correctly. One thing I hate about new cameras is if they're not set up correctly, they don't look right on YouTube. But the bale that just came out the back now is okay, so we're good. We're good. I skip bale like this so that it's easier on the drive lines. And I want to thank Ed Myers for turning me on to the Exxon XTC grease. It's really a very thick oil. It's not like this heavily soaked grease. It's, if you put that on a flat piece of metal, it'll just creep out like really, really thick oil, like almost like a tar. And it doesn't matter whether it's cold or hot, it just does it. I have had next to no issues with drive lines even getting hot with that stuff. So thank you, Ed Myers. It's been a good, thank you very much. I think I bought 448 tubes of it. I think that's how many tubes I bought. And it worked out pretty good. So what the heck we got going there? I got a steer. You eating that shirt again? This kid's addicted to eating his shirt. What flavor is your shirt?
Chocolate.
I doubt it. I doubt it's chocolate. Yeah. I could think of something else that's brown and may taste like that, but it's not chocolate. Hang on, boy, there's a rut there. And a pile stacked there, and it really makes it ruts. That bale came off of there, and it's good. Life is good. Let me shut this off. What's my boy doing?
Oh.
You can't see?
Yeah, I
See,
can.
that one doesn't have the screen. See, look. Yeah, look through that one.
That one?
Yeah, that one. So I just wanted to talk about. Yeah, I got a cough. I think I got a cough drop. I just wanted to say about this this field. Me and Teresa mowed this yesterday, and the moisture is. It's so dry here, but the moisture is below 15%. Anytime that my pressure is above 1200, the moisture in the hay is below 15%, which is kind of shocking because I only mowed it yesterday. She raked it a little bit ago. It is pretty warm out there. It's like 90. It's effing hot. Yeah, so the ground is bone dry, the air is bone dry, so the hay is bone dry. And there was a lot of green in this yesterday. I was kind of surprised. And even if it is, you know, if the green is above like 30%, the dead standing stuff is probably below 5%. It will equalize, and it probably won't even mold, but it doesn't matter. This stuff is going to the mushroom barns. Anyways, I'm going to talk about a comment that came through on the burnt baler. Now we're having problems. I'd say we're having problems. It just, like I said earlier, I'm disappointed with the insurance company on the baler. The response was pretty quickly in the beginning, and now it's like they're like, oh shit, we're gonna have to pay out like over $50,000 on this baler. Well, I want it fixed. Honestly, I want the baler fixed, and that's it. If they want to cut me a check for over $50,000, and you know, that's it, I fix it myself this winter, I'm cool with that. I will be okay with that. I'll finish up with one baler, it'll be fine. The other thing, there's a lot of people out there say that Krone balers are junk, and that just blows my mind. I've owned New Holland. I ran a John Deere. I didn't mind the John Deere, but I didn't put enough hours in it to really justify an opinion. I've owned two Hestons. I think they were both 4910s. They're the 4x4 baler. As a matter of fact, the Heston balers that are built today are very similar to the ones that were built a few years ago. The improvements are in the bale chamber and in the compression side of it, but the main baler components are the same. Now, did I like the Heston baler? I can't say I liked or disliked it, and I've owned two of them. I didn't care for them because they were slow and, you know, unproductive. What I can do in an afternoon with one of these Krone balers is what I could do with a whole team of 4x4 Hestons. And and that's fine, whatever. There's different model Hestons, and they have improved the speed of them. They've upped the strokes per minute, and they do make a fine baler. But I'm telling you right now, these Krones will outrun a Heston. They will outrun a Heston. They all need maintenance. They all need parts. They all break down. But I can tell you, the Krones broke down less than a Heston. When my nephew worked for me, he said, if I got to run the Heston, I'm going to quit. That's what he told me. He said, if I got to run a Heston, I'm going to quit. And, you know, I don't blame him for that statement, because honestly, you know, Heston makes a good machine. Mine were older. They were older balers, but it's okay because everybody loved the older Hestons to the point where, you know, they still command a pretty good price. It's just they're slow. That's all. I need speed, and when you're in the commercial baling business like I am, and when I say commercial baling, I mean we're baling thousands upon thousands of bales each when I had both the balers going, and you know, it's like when we were going to North Carolina. Yeah, there's a lot of Hestons down there, but I went to the yard after the Hestons were done doing the same amount of bales that I had done, and they looked like hammered dog shit, and they needed a lot of repair. My Crones, few wear parts, back to the field, bale another 10,000 bales. That's it. Now, the baler that burned had 64,000 bales on it, okay? No major problems other than the collision that we had when we came out of the field. The fire, that would have been under $10,000 worth of repairs, and we'd have been back in the field probably already. Well, I'd say 10,000 to under 10,000 for wiring harnesses, but the door panel is going to be over 10, so you're looking at $20,000. The rest is collision stuff from coming out of the field through a blazing fire. And when I say a blazing fire, I mean it was a blaze. Burned the twine off the bottom of the bales in the baler, and you know, my wife was Johnny on the spot. She got that fire out. There was nobody there, and she did it. I mean, she got it out. And there's a lot of women that would have just panicked, but my wife took charge and got the job done, and I'm very proud of her. And there's been a few people that have made stupid comments like, oh, it's operator error, or if that was a Heston, it would have told you in the cab. Well, a Crone will tell you in the cab as well. I don't know why the buzzer didn't go off telling her that the flywheel brake was on when it was on, because she got in the tractor to move the baler before she got a hold of the she got in the tractor to move the baler out of the fire that was underneath it, and the buzzer was then on that the flywheel brake was pulled, but she hadn't attempted to fight the fire yet. So somehow, some way, the computer in 12 acres of time didn't register that that flywheel brake was on, or I have no idea what the hell happened. But stop picking on my wife about her being an unskilled operator. She's very skilled. You're cold. Well, what are you sticking your nose in there for? Anyways, my wife is a very good operator, diverse, can do more stuff than most men, and I think that's maybe why they make those comments, because maybe they've got a wife that won't get out of the damn living room, sits there eating freaking, I don't know what, gaining 4 million pounds and wouldn't know how to move a tractor, let alone drive one. And that's about all I have to say about that. Oh, and my wife, she raked this. You know why it's so nice and straight and clean? Because she knows what it's like to bale behind a rake. And an inferior raker, somebody that's never run a baler, will make a god-awful mess out of a field. But this field is nice. She did a great job, and she's even running a tractor she's not used to. She's running the 7810, which is a power quad with an E-range. And yeah, it's a challenge for her, but she's done a great job. Yeah, we got another field over there. Anyway, I'm going to shut up now. Better say there's an SD card. Fuel Queen. Fuel Prince. Ah, a piece of wood gets stuck in there. Piece of wood. Yeah, I see that. I want to stop it. I just got to see what that's about. Oh, I see. There's a string in there. Look at that. It's just a string. Why there's a string in there, I don't know. This is the last thing you would ever see if you were to get caught in here. This machine is incredibly deadly. Deadly, right?
What?
This machine is deadly.
Yes.
If you got in this one. I got stuck in the New Holland one time, long time ago. If you guys are newer subscribers, you wouldn't know that.
Don't do that. You're gonna hit
And
your face, crazy kid.
I got my foot caught. There was a New Holland had a terrible design here on the corners, and it would pack up in there, and it was just every 10 minutes get off the tractor, come back here, kick the hay in, and then it would go in. Well, my foot went along with it, and the stuffer bars, the packer bars, stuffer bars came down on top of my foot, caused a little bit of damage there. I didn't go to the doctor, but it healed. And but if it was this machine, it would just eat you. This machine would eat you. There's no stopping this machine. Oh, and where was that deer? I never saw it.
Not yet.
What are you doing? Peeing in the truck?
Yeah, he ran his thing over there and it went boom.
You got it over the top?
You remember when the first field I mowed at Croton?
Croton? Yeah.
The first outside round.
I never saw it. It's in there. It ate a deer. I've eaten complete deer with a Krone baler. Just, you didn't even know that it went in. You just ate it. I can't get it out. I have to get a pry bar or something to pick it up.
So what happened to Rick was it snapped the arm something, metal and
The knuckle thing?
yeah, it's
I've got a
split.
new one.
It's split. So.
Did he get it home?
Oh, he got it home.
No shit.
He got it home.
Good. Is he tearing it apart?
No, he's loading his truck.
He what?
He's loading his truck.
Oh, he's loading his truck? Okay.
You're gonna put that thing on your eye and you will be blind.
Be careful.
Listen to me, go ahead. I don't care anymore.
You don't care? You're gonna show him the guacu guacu? Gyaku gyaku?
I'll give him yaku yaku.
Huh?
Can
Gyaku.
you put that shit off my face?
Oh,
Is that
you did something to it.
Good.
I'm gonna beat you up. You want a good beating?
I think I just saw Lily Brooks today. Coming out of his car.
You gonna do gyaku gyaku? What? Is that what you doing? I'm gonna swine.